welcome to these few minutes that we all just get to pull away from the busyness of life, of our day, of our evening, our weekend, and just spend a little time focused on the present moment. So wherever you have found your spot to be now, I would invite you just to get comfortable, just to close your eyes or just bring your eyes down so they're not distracted by the things around you. And then just really give yourself the affirmation of the showing up. Sometimes we come for meditation, whatever that looks like for us, and we have all these expectations. And then the mind begins to wander. The body gets fidgety. There's a noise in the other room, and we think that we are just failing and things aren't working. But y'all, we show up one moment at a time. And if the distraction comes now, you just take a slow breath in and you become present again in this present moment. That's all you gotta do. Being present in the present. And just let all the expectations go. Just be here. And so begin to just find a really good rhythm of breath, just lengthening that inhale. And make sure that exhale is full and complete. And just slow breath in, followed by a full breath out. And then one more breath in. And another breath out. And just find the rhythm. However those few breaths made you feel, either deepen them a bit, take them a little more into your belly, whatever it is you need, just do that. And so as we have collectively settled in, we've been on this journey for a few days, looking at the 5 elements in the world, how they are manifested within us, how they are around us, how they impact us. And so we began our journey with the element of earth. And so I invite you, just feel the grounding beneath you. In the chair that you're in, on the ground, sitting on that bed, whatever's holding you in your place. Just be grateful for the element of earth. Grateful for the stability, the rooting that it provides. And then we went on to the element of water. We imagine these mountains with water just coming through them, and all of a sudden you've got canyons and beautiful things in nature that we just stand in awe as we look at. We know that water is about movement. And so just kind of notice within you, where do you feel this flow, this movement? Sometimes it feels like a little much. Sometimes it feels like just the right amount. And so just notice, where do you feel movement within you? And then we looked at the element of fire. Tejas is what it's called. And the element of fire, the beautiful act of purification, of burning up what needs to be burned up, and cultivating and harvesting what remains in its place. And then there was the element of air. We feel it around us. It's the cool breeze on our face. It's the air in the room where you are right now. And what we learned about air is that it's instant in its impact. It comes in that one breath, that one breeze, and immediately its impact is felt. The element of air, Vayu. And so today, as we finish this journey through the Pancha Mahabhutas, is what they're called in Sanskrit, these 5 elements, today we sit with the element of ether, AKASHA in Sanskrit. Sometimes it's translated to space. But if you go deep and you study the text, what it tells you is space doesn't quite capture it. Space is like this nothingness, this realm of non-existence. But what we know about ether and AKASHA is it is filled with potentiality. And so I would invite you, just as we begin this part of our journey, just imagine that you're looking up in the night sky and you just can't even begin to count the stars. You see the moon over to one side. You see this really bright light in the distance, and you realize it's probably a planet. And you start to just notice things around you. And sometimes it feels really big, and sometimes it feels like it's right there, and you're part of it. That is AKASHA, ether. It is big. It is filled with potentiality, and it is within us. As much as you look up and you see the night sky with all the stars, there's just as much light within us. There's just as much potentiality. But the struggle comes that we seem to fill ourselves up with so many other things that we run out of space for the potential, for the light. Because at the end of the day, there's just so much within us. There's so much space, so much room. And when we allow suffering to just sit and cause us to become heavy inside, and when we allow toxic people to really impact our attitude and our way of seeing the world, and we allow the struggles of our government and our systems to bring us down, that takes up space within us, which means there's less space for the potentiality, for the light. And I don't know about you, but I'd like to just imagine that within me, there's just as much uncountable light as there is in the night sky. And so I want to be intentional about letting the other stuff just go. It doesn't mean that you don't face life, and it doesn't mean that you don't encounter things. It just means that what stays here is what you invite in, and the rest goes. And so I want to just take us on just a body scan to maybe see if we can imagine this beautiful potential space filled with light within us, this ether. And so I imagine in our belly, you know when you're hungry. So just recognize how you feel deep down in your belly when it's time to eat and you feel this rumbling. It's this space that's letting you know there's room. I need nourishment. I'm giving you the sign. And that's just one way that we can feel this potential of this room within us. And then what about your heart? You know, you think that your heart is so full and you love the people in your path. And then all of a sudden, someone new comes into your life. You have a new child. You have a new relationship. You have a new person that you haven't known for very long, and you realize you do have more capacity for love. So that space in your heart begins to create a little more space, a little more light, a little more love. And then what about in your mind? We clutter up the mind with so much unnecessary stuff. And then we joke that we're old or we're older and it's hard to remember things, but really in reality is we've kept so much stuff up there that when we do want to recall, we do want to learn things that are new, we got to get rid of the stuff that needs to go. That's AKASHA. That's this potential of this beautiful, limitless, almost, filled with light space that our mind has. But what we notice is when it's cluttered with the things that don't serve us, this limitless potential doesn't seem to have much room. And then I want us just to settle on one part of our body, and this is where we're going to sit together tonight. So just turn your awareness to your throat, because AKASHA, ether, is connected to the energy of our voice. Not the voice that has the accent and the tone and the words, the voice of your truth. The truth of who you are and what you hold dear and what you believe in. Your truth. And so I'd like us just to sit and just kind of feel that area right there at the center of your throat, your voice, your truth. And just notice for the next few breaths how connected to it you feel. For some of you, it's immediate. You feel it. And for some of you, it seems really far away. And so just take a few breaths here and just pay attention to that spot. What do you notice? Wouldn't it be wonderful if our truth could get our attention the same way that our empty belly tells us that it's time to eat? But what I would like to share with you is it can. We just have to remember where to focus our attention. And so as we continue just to keep our focus right there at the center of our throat, I want to just take you through just a quick scan and see if maybe you can feel the messages of your personal truth. So just continue to breathe slow, deep breaths in and out. And I would invite you to picture the color blue, the deepest, boldest color of blue that you can imagine in your mind. That's the color of this energy. I almost equate it to that deep, rich blue that we see when we look up at the sky. It feels endless. But sometimes our voice gets so constricted, so silenced. Maybe we're scared of what others will think if we speak our truth. Maybe we just need a little more courage. Maybe we've tried it and we've been shut down and we don't feel inclined to try again. But what I would tell each of us is that my truth is not like yours and yours is not like the person that you live with. Your truth is your truth and it needs to be shared. And so let's begin to cultivate a little courage, a little connection to our truth. So I'm going to ask you just some soul questions and see if anything comes to mind. And the first question is so simple. Who am I? Who am I? Not the job that you do, not the roles that you serve in your home and your family, but deep below the surface, right there at the center of your truth. Who am I? And then the question asks, what do I want? What is the heart's desire that I want? What I want to see happen in my life? What I want to see happen in our world and in our country and in our families? What do I want? And then the question that asks, am I willing to speak my truth, to allow my heart's desire to go from being this unmanifest thing to being manifested, to being reality? Am I willing to speak my truth, represent my truth, so that that deep heart's desire that I have can become known? And as we sit, I know those questions are big and they are seemingly simple on the surface, but so rich below the surface. Who are we? Do we know? Are we willing to put aside all the labels all the negative mindsets that maybe we've had about ourselves, all the times that we've tried and we think that we failed. Are we willing to let those go and peel away the layers and see the beautiful stars in the sky and begin to look at who we really are? Who am I? And are we willing to dig deep into our heart, into our soul, and ask, what do I want? It's not a laundry list of things that I want to achieve or accumulate. It's deeper. Am I willing to do the work to sit in this present moment like we're doing now as I discover what is it that I want? What does my heart long for? And am I willing to speak up, to share my truth, just to see that heart's desire become manifested? I would hope that if we want it, and it's the thing that just fills our heart when we imagine it, that last question should be simple. Yes. Yes, I'm willing to speak up. Yes, I am willing to advocate. Yes, I'm willing to do the work. But I recognize it's not that simple. So I would invite us for these few minutes that we have left, that we sit with ourselves. Because before we can speak our truth to the world and to others, we got to really sit with it ourselves. First, we discover what it is. And then we sit with it. We meditate on it. We own it. We embrace it. We let it fill up that night sky with potentiality, just like those stars do. And so let's just continue to sit. Slow breaths in. You are anchored on the earth. The element of water is flowing and moving within you. The element of fire is there, ready to burn up whatever needs to go. And that element of air, that life-giving force with the breath coming in and the breath going out, they all work together. What is my truth? Just take another slow, deep breath in. See that color blue. See the stars in the sky. See your heart's desire. And as we prepare to close our time and to re-enter the activity of our day, our evening, the things we have to do, the responsibilities that we must tend to, I want to first just really validate the fact that we speak our truth, and sometimes people aren't always ready to hear it. It doesn't mean that we come back and we speak louder. It doesn't mean that we become angry, and it certainly doesn't mean that we stop speaking. But as we go through the days to come, I would invite you and myself as well to think about raising your vibration in a way that your truth can be felt even when maybe folks aren't ready yet to hear it. Let them feel it as you live it. And you'll be ready to live it as you sit with it and embrace it. AKASHA, pure potentiality. The same beautiful light that fills the night sky into universes we can't even imagine is the light within us, shining the light on the path, helping us to find and understand and ultimately live and speak our truth. Namaste.